My dog did decide she wanted to join us. Anyway. Yeah, my name is Lou Nayul. I'm Vice President with WealthWave, which is part of the World Financial Group. We'll get more on that a little bit later. And I'm an old guy. I've been around for a long, long time. I like to joke. When I started selling, the Dead Sea was just a critically ill sea. Maybe that's a little bit exaggerated, but I've been around for a long time. I've seen a lot of changes. And when I first started out selling, I was in the business of basically driving in my car from place to place and doing everything that you had to do, and that was the way everything used to be. I mean, there's no internet. The only way we talked was by phone or in person, or you send them a letter. I mean, do people really write letters anymore? I guess maybe some people do, but who would have guessed 25 years ago that Sears would be basically gone? In fact, maybe they are gone. I know Kmart, which Sears is gone. But who would have ever guessed that Amazon would be the #1 retailer now, or even they would know that Walmart would be as big as they are. I mean, things have definitely changed, and even the last several years, things have changed. I mean, 30 years ago, who would have thought that you could make a phone call without paying toll charges? And calling long distance used to be a big deal, and calling around the world was unheard of. Now, in your cell phone, you can call anywhere there is. What Virtual Financial has done to the insurance industry, what Amazon did to Sears, and we use the technology that's in place now that wasn't around 20 years ago. So our meeting today, we have an agenda. Our agenda is going to be the problem that is in the problem in the world. And the problem we address is both a societal problem, it's an industry problem, and it's an individual problem. We're talking about the solution to the problem, and we're talking about what makes us different and our approach to the solution. Our mission is very basic. It's to stamp out financial illiteracy so families can dream again. Too many families have given up on their dreams, or they never had dreams at all. Thinking back to the old days, first credit card I got, I think it was American Express, and I had to pay it off every month. If I did not pay it off every month, Vito came to my house and wanted to know why I didn't pay it off. That's really changed. Now credit cards pay me. Have you ever thought about how much money you can get from a credit card? And if I pay it off, then Vito gets mad because the credit card company likes to get the interest on when you don't pay your credit cards off on time. No one helps the middle-class families plan their finances. The upper middle class has no problems. You're Bill Gates, you don't worry about your finances. Jeff Bezos, you don't worry about your finances. Elon Musk, they don't worry about their finances. The upper 1% is different than everybody else. If you're down the real poor end, the poverty level, again, you got other things to worry about than your finances, and you pretty much rely on the government to take care of you. But there's a great big middle market, the upper middle class, over 100 million people, that no one looks after them. And that's the market that we address with Virtual Financial. But let's consider what the problem really is for everybody. A recent study on financial literacy found that only 30% of the people in the world are financially literate. And basically that was taking five questions. If they could answer 3 of them correctly, they were literate. If they could only answer 2 of them, they were illiterate. And only 30% of the people could answer 3 out of 5 questions correctly. Consider this: 44% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency. That's even with a credit card. They forget cash. They can't cover it even with a credit card. 43% of student loan borrowers are not making payments. I'm more educated in college, and I think college used to be a lot better than it is now. I think too many kids now come out of school, the only thing they have is a huge student loan debt and a degree that can get them to be a barista at Starbucks and nothing else. But they have this big debt, and 43% of them are not making payments. If you don't pay your credit card off, the average owing is $9,333. That's the average credit card balance. And if they just pay the minimum payment, these people will pay $37,486 in interest over 30 years. That's ridiculous. And lastly, 33% of Americans have 0 retirement savings. And these are all documented numbers. There's not something that I made up or we made up. But it's a big problem. Financial literacy is the #1 economic challenge in this country. So what is needed? Families need an education on financial literacy so they know how to properly use their money. And that's our mission at Virtual Financial and WealthWave, is to teach families financial literacy. We'll go more into that as we get into this further. Each family needs an evaluation of their needs. They need to create a suitable plan that solves their real problems. But lastly, and maybe as important, maybe more important, they need an explanation of why that plan will benefit them now and in the future. So they need education, they need evaluation, they need explanation, alliteration here. Specifically, they need a plan that covers wealth protection, wealth accumulation, and wealth distribution. Protection, accumulation, and distribution. There are a lot of people that are not covering, that cover protection, but they do not cover accumulation or distribution. I want to make sure my text is not someone having a problem here. Yeah. Anyway, another. Who'd ever guessed years ago you get spam on your smartphone? Anyway, turn my phone off. Anyway, there's a lot you can find. Wealth protection, wealth accumulation. Wealth accumulation for most people is just primarily their home, which really is not an investment. They might have a 401k. They might have some stocks. They might have an IRA. And then distribution, and you find a lot of people, that's all they talk about is wealth accumulation. They don't talk too much about the protection or the distribution. But also, the plan must be suitable for every client. Everybody is different. I think we'll all agree with that. Too many people don't even have a plan. If they do have a plan, it's kind of a generic plan, but you need a suitable plan for the client that's actually affordable for them, that's actually wanted by them. And that's part of the key. They need to understand they need this plan. A lot of people don't, they start to realize as they get older, but it solves real problems. And you do find people out there on the internet and the radio or television, the Dave Ramseys, the Susie Ormans, they'll talk about the wealth accumulation primarily and maybe get out of debt, but they really don't put a whole plan together, and they treat everyone exactly the same. But we're all different. We all need our own specific plan that handles our specific situations. And they do change over time. I think one of the big dangers of a plan is it gets locked in place and you never look at it again. The plan needs to be updated because situations change. But the real question is, who can create and present this plan? That's really the problem. And I make this premise that the presentation is more important than the creation, because the presentation needs to talk about the implications of not doing something. I mean, people say, well, plan is too expensive. Well, not having a plan can really be expensive. A new agent cannot create or present this plan, and that's one of the problems, because a lot of people want to get into the insurance business. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they really, what do they know? What can they do? They cannot create or present a plan. A captive agent is someone who works for like a State Farm or an Allstate or one of those. They're limited to the products they have, and they cannot really create an ideal plan. They can create a plan was based on the products they have. But again, just because someone's captive, someone has experience, doesn't mean an awful lot. A seasoned independent agent can have the knowledge and the ability to have all the products necessary to create a private plan, and the experience and how to do it, and have the software to do it. But the key word there is seasoned. Just because someone's been in the industry for 20 years doesn't mean they're seasoned. I mean, they could have 20 experiences, one experience 20 times. And keeping up with what goes on in the industry is an ever-changing battle. Education is crucial. People that aren't educated up to date on what the new products are out there, the new laws that are out there, the tax laws, they're kind of guessing. But a new agent typically is fighting a long uphill battle. And that's why we want to talk about the new agent. Let's talk about new agent newbie. Newbie decides that insurance is a great career, and newbie's motivation is money. And there is a lot of money in the insurance industry. There are 6 7 and 8-figure earners in the life insurance industry and financial services. I mean, it is a place to make good money, no question about it. So Newbie talks to a friend who's with XY Life and who brings Newbie on board. Newbie trains, obtains a life license, quits his job, and goes to XY Life's office, where he probably has to pay some rent or pay something to go in there. Newbie is trained by Senior. They travel in Newbie's car, and one of Newbie's friends purchases a policy to help out good old Newbie. You know, Newbie's a good guy. I'll buy something here to help him out. Newbie works hard. He travels all over, and he really is selling very little or nothing. Newbie gets a little desperate. He needs a sale, so he gets another friend to buy a policy to help out good old Newbie. Newbie is not making any money. He looks to drive an Uber to make ends meet. And I'm not making these situations up. There's a lot of new agents that have to go through exactly this scenario. Newbie talks to friends, and maybe he's trying to talk these friends into buying a policy from him. And they said, "I told you so, Newbie, insurance is not for you." Newbie tries hard. Senior tells him to keep on keeping on, and Newbie does. Newbie's spouse gets fed up. Newbie decides he maybe better look for a second job to pay the bills while he keeps learning. The friends who purchase policies realize they don't need the coverage and they cancel the policies. Newbie gets a big chargeback, and now it was XY money. And he goes off into the sunset. Everyone loses. Newbie's friends don't want to see him again. XY Life has lost a lot of time. They've lost money on policies they had issued and then canceled. And Senior, who spends time training Newbie. So what is there to do? Is life insurance for everybody? No, life insurance, the financial services is not for everybody. I'll say that right now. For some people, the best thing to do is have a job. But for people that really are desire to help people and are entrepreneurial in spirit, it can be a great place to be. And Virtual Financial could be the place for them. And what makes us different? That's why I want to talk about the rest of our time together today. What makes Virtual Financial different? Number one, we do everything over the internet. You say, oh, wow, everyone does everything on the internet, right? No, not true. Not everyone doesn't do everything over the internet. Just because people Zoom, that doesn't mean that they're doing everything over the internet. I mean, we started doing this 10 years ago. This was founded by a gentleman by the name of Chris Delfino, who is very successful in the company that started the buy term and invest the rest mantra. Chris was down in a little town in called San Luis Obispo, California, which is a beautiful little tourist town down on the central coast of California. There's a college there, a lot of retirees there. Good place to come visit. A small little office. It wasn't a big metro area at all. But Chris developed a system, and he became very successful in his system. And he decided he wanted another office. He put an office in Fresno, which is over the hills from San Luis Obispo in the central San Joaquin Valley. He was from Sacramento area, which is where the capital of California is, up in Northern California. He opened a third office up there. But the problem he was doing, he spent all his time in his car going from San Luis Obispo to Fresno to Sacramento to San Luis Obispo to Fresno. And that got to be tiring after a while. Windshield time is not very productive time. And that was a lot of things I started learning when I came out of the high-tech world. And we had to do everything in someone's office, and we'd have to get there somehow without cell phones. All you can do is drive and fight the traffic. And Chris he drove up Highway 99, which probably doesn't mean anything to too many of you. We had to fight tomato trucks during the tomato season, which is a long season, and a lot of traffic there. And driving is not fun. And now with the price of gas, maybe it's coming down a little bit. California, the big hurrah was it's now under $5 a gallon. It's still over, $4.99 to $4.97 is under $5. Yeah, barely. But driving is expensive, and that's why he came up with the idea of using the internet and doing everything over the internet. And that wasn't easy to get started with, I got to tell you that, because insurance companies still required you to go to a house to sell a policy. And Chris, along with a couple of the carriers, came up with ways to just use the internet to sell the policies. And so no driving whatsoever. Again, just using Zoom did not really solve all the problems. But all our meetings use the internet. We don't have to go to a Saturday morning meeting. You have to dress up and take a sharp pencil with you to jab you in the thigh so you didn't go to sleep during a boring presentation. Our meetings all use the internet. We run an hour meeting twice a week on Saturday mornings and on Tuesday evenings. And you can attend in your pajamas if you wish. You probably can do it naked if you want to. There's no cameras, but I digress there. But we do use the internet. All our client meetings are on the internet. We do not have to go to a client's house at all. And it has another big advantage. Our territory is everywhere in North America where there's a cell phone signal. And that means we don't have a geographic territory. In the traditional market, your territory was basically 1 hour from where your office was, or a half day's driving from your office. So you could drive to your clients and back home again in the evenings. And you can be like Los Angeles, driving in downtown Los Angeles out to the suburbs can be a real challenging thing. But what makes us really different is the assembly line. Henry Ford realized that people can do some tasks better than others. And it's easier to train people on a single task than on all the different tasks they had to be done. And that's what we do. We have an assembly line. And this is what's truly unique and different about Virtual Financial. No one else in the industry uses the approach we have of an assembly line. We have different positions. We have 3 powerful roles. We have an inviter role. Everyone starts out as an inviter. In fact, we're kind of like Marines in this regard. Everyone is an inviter, no matter where they grow in the organization. The inviter invites guests to our webinars, drives traffic to websites, and sends out our proven emails to prospects. When a sale is needed, it's done by a financial professional. Financial professional does everything online to set up a suitable monthly plan. We do a called the needs analysis, which we'll get into in a minute. And you think about financial professional, you think, well, if you want to get an auto policy online, it's no big deal. You just go to the Geico website. In California, you can't get Geico anymore. Go to e-insurance or whatever, and you fill in your information about your car, put in your VIN number, put in your driver's license number, tell them what kind of coverage you want, and lo and behold, a policy will pop up, and you can pay for it with your credit card. You have a policy. You think very simple. Life insurance and annuities are very, very different. And companies have different underwriting requirements. People are not all the same. Some people are on meds. Some people have had stroke or heart attack or cancer, and it's possible for these people to get insured. And that's what the financial professional's job is to find the carrier that can help these people out with their life insurance needs. And it's a challenging job. One thing anyone can start out as an inviter, and they can grow into a financial professional. We don't try to limit people what they can do. We tell them what the options are, and they can do what they want to do. The key in this, though, is the manager. The manager connects the inviter with the financial professional. The manager does the training of the inviter and does all the scheduled appointments with the financial professional. The manager also does recruiting, as do the inviters. Again, we have the 3 powerful roles. Now, how we tie these together, we have our customer relationship manager system, our CRM. It's unique to Virtual Financial. I've used a lot of different CRMs in my life. I've used Salesforce, I've used Microsoft Dynamics, I've used some homegrown systems, some industry-specific systems. Our system is very unique in what it does. It does exactly what we need to have done. One of the most important things does is we share data in the cloud. There are no individual databases, and individual databases can be a real big problem if that's what people have. But we all work off the same database that is cloud-based. Keep track of all the prospects where they are. Keeps track of all the clients too, where their clients are. We send marketing emails, so this is a marketing system as well as just a database system. We schedule all our follow-up activities. We use to sign financial professional appointments. I'm going to take a minute on this because I'm in California. If I find someone that I can help out in Florida, I need to be licensed in Florida, but am I going to go to Florida and talk to these people, or am I even going to take the time to talk to these people? And we do have people who are in Florida, they're licensed in Florida, and maybe I'm not licensed in Florida, and I don't have to be licensed in every state, but anyway, I can use the CRM to find a licensed financial professional who's licensed in Florida, who can help my prospect or my client in Florida. And that we do that through the CRM. That's, we're very unique in that regard. Counters all activities, tracks progress toward goals, keeps a record of all activities. And I got to tell you, records are very important. If a record is not properly kept, people can end up forgetting things. I don't know how good your memory is. My memory, as we all get older, we start having problems with memory. But even if you have a perfect memory, if you're dealing with 20 different people, can you remember exactly what you told one person, or actually what you're supposed to do for another, to help another person out? That's why you need absolutely great records so everyone knows exactly where things are. And I know, you say, okay, we got a great system. And I've seen a lot of great systems in the high-tech world. That's where I came up. Most of my life was in the high-tech world. And I saw a lot of people that had some great ideas in the high-tech world, and they had a certain amount of money, but they run out of money. In fact, you want to read an interesting book, and read a book of Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, who founded PayPal, the challenges they went through. And a couple of times they almost ran out of money. Amazon almost ran out of money. We're not in any danger of running out of money. We're owned by Aegon, who's one of the largest financial organizations in the world. They're one of, I think, 6 or 7 companies in the world that's considered too big to fail. What that means is they're under great scrutiny from compliance people. They have to keep a lot of reserves. They cannot do anything strange. They have to make sure that they do not go out of business because they're too big to fail. Aegon owns Transamerica. You may not have heard of Aegon, but most everyone's heard of Transamerica. Transamerica was founded in 1905 after the Great San Francisco earthquake. It was part of the Bank of Italy, which is now Bank of America. Transamerica is spun off of Bank of America. And it's a very well-known large financial organization in the United States and in other parts of the world. Transamerica owns World Financial Group, which is an insurance marketing organization. WFG is the largest IMO in the country. And you get an idea how large WFG is. WFG paid out $1.2 billion in commissions in the last 12 months. That's over $1 million of commissions a year. That means a lot of people are getting life insurance help through the agents of World Financial Group. Part of World Financial Group is WealthWave. WealthWave is, we get all our marketing materials through WealthWave, it's Virtual Financial. And Virtual Financial is at the bottom. The big thing about being at the bottom, we have access to WealthWave's resources. We have access to World Financial Group resources. We have access to Transamerica resources. We have access to Aegon resources. And we have everything going for us. One of the big things that we have is we have over 200 A-class rated carriers that we can offer products from. And this is what World Financial Group does. World Financial Group vets all the carriers out, and our book of business, our agency is so large, the carriers come to us and come to World Financial Group and want to be part of the World Financial Group carriers. And again, there's advantages. They have different underwriting standards. Nationwide is a little stricter in their underwriting than others. We have more than one carrier that if you have had cancer and you've been cancer free for up to 3 years, they will write your life insurance policy. So I mean, there's a lot of different carriers out there, and they're all different. They all have different needs. And with World Financial Group, there's a headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, it's in Johns Creek, Georgia. There's 200 full-time Transamerica employees that support the World Financial Group. And there's an $80 million home office, and they're spending a lot of money on the computer IT system. That may not sound like how much, but if the company grows very rapidly, you have to be able to scale to handle all the growth you're receiving. And we are growing. You say, okay, sounds good. Show me the leads. Show me the leads. And all the years I've been selling, this is also the question. Show me the leads. But I want to suggest if you're in the life insurance business and you're looking for life insurance leads, you're looking for the wrong type of leads. I mean, people sell leads. People sell you life insurance leads. They're baloney. I bought I forget how much I spent one time just to buy some leads to see what they were like. And they're supposed to be exclusive leads, and they were baloney. People didn't even know what they were there. But we don't go looking for life insurance leads. We teach families how money works, and we educate, and that's the number one request of families and people. I wish we had learned more about how to manage our money. There's been studies shown in high school students, college students. What do you wish you were taught that you weren't taught? It's how to manage my money. And it's a big problem in the country. And we don't talk about life insurance. We say, how can we help you manage your money better? And if in the process of managing their money and looking at their wealth accumulation, wealth protection, wealth distribution, life insurance fits in, great. But if we've helped them improve their finances so they can get rid of credit cards and they can stop living paycheck to paycheck, great. At least we've done our duty there. How do we do this? We use the book, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And it sounds like a little crude to the title, Stop Being a Sucker. Oh my goodness, you talk people who don't use the money right are suckers. They are. They're getting taken advantage of by the financial institutions. You know, the people that issue credit cards don't want you to pay them off. They want you to keep paying the credit card. And if you run up the limits, they'll increase the limits up to a certain point. They like that interest. They make anywhere from 17 to 20% interest on a credit card. What do they pay in their savings accounts? Maybe 1%. It's going up a little bit now. For a long time, some of the life insurance, some of the credit card companies, some of the banks were only paying 0.1% annually on your savings accounts. And that's kind of baloney. I mean, you can see why they want you to not pay your credit cards off. This book has been vetted by over 250 television stations across the country. It's been on Fox, it's been on CNBC, it's been on Fox Business. CNBC actually was so intrigued by the book, they actually wrote an article about it. They wanted to check out to make sure that everything that we said in the book was accurate, and it was. It was written by Tom Matthews and Steve Siebold, who are two colleagues of mine in WealthWave. And how do we work? Before we do anything with someone, we'll do a needs analysis. If someone comes in and says, look, I'd like to get a quote for $100,000 worth of term insurance on a 10-year basis, we say, okay, we can do that, but we need some more information first. We want to find out why they need that. And so we do a needs analysis. And it turns out they might not need that much insurance. They may need more insurance. People have a very, very poor idea in the market of what insurance costs. Most people think it costs more than it does, and they don't get enough coverage. But again, we do a needs analysis, so we find out exactly what they do need. And we also point out that we have products that are specialized products. Living benefits, we have life insurance with living benefits. That's the insurance you don't have to die to use. People get cancer, heart disease, stroke. Probably been, I don't know how many people have had a stroke since this started here. Probably 30 people have had a stroke since I started this webinar. And maybe 20 people have come to find out they had cancer. And with living benefits, you can actually draw against the face value of the policy to carry you through to cover the extra costs if you don't have it. And if you can't work, to pay your bills. I mean, that's the biggest problem people have. They might have an auto accident. They can't work. How do they pay their bills? The living benefits, the insurance will pay their bills if they have the proper living benefits type of a policy. Some people talk about living benefits being terminal benefits. For virtually all life insurance policies for forever and ever, if you're going to die, they'll give you some percentage of your face value before you die, which is very nice of them. I mean, they're going to pay it off when you die anyway. But living benefits, I had a client that was a 50-year-old nurse, and she got a $500,000 term policy with living benefits. 4 years later, she was diagnosed with cancer, and she was able to draw against take a good chunk of her $500,000 policy to carry her through, and maybe look for some alternative treatments. And anyway, she did pass away, but at least she was able to live a fairly good life while she was going through her treatments. And she actually was back to where she was working again. She was for a while before the cancer came back. Another product we talk about are called IULs. IULs were not around when the term with living benefits came around. The only option was to buy the stock market. That's why back in those days, people got securities licenses. Securities licenses really are not needed these days. IULs are owned by the wealthiest 1%, own 22% of the policies. The wealthiest 10% over half the policies. What's an IUL? It's called an Index Universal Life. It's tied to the stock market, but with no downside. The big challenge with the stock market, it goes up and goes down. And it would be nice to have something that only benefited when it went up. And if it went down, it didn't go down, maybe it was zero, or maybe it only went up 0.75% or less than 1%, but at least it was still going up. And there are policies that do that. Living benefits are a great type of product for someone that is younger, under 45 for sure, maybe under 50, but for 20s or 30s, 40s, living benefits are great. If you get older, we have annuities. And again, their products were not available. Annuities used to be, if you died before the money went out, then all the money went to the insurance company. I mean, with life insurance, the ones that live forever, with annuities, the ones that die real quick. Now that's changed completely. Other thing makes us different. Our territory is North America. And everywhere in the blue dots on there's a sports team, professional team. In traditional world, your territory was in a half a day of where your office was, and maybe you could open another office, but you didn't have the whole country as your territory typically. Social media is where the action is now, as far as getting contact with people. Many of you may remember the old days of Chamber of Commerce mixers. You go in there and you take a handful of business cards and maybe a brochure, and you pass out your business cards, your brochures. And most of those business cards and brochures were in the garbage when the meeting was over, or in the wastebasket on the way out, or if they made it home, they ended up in the dark and dusty shelf that never looked at again. Social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I guess there's some others out there. I'm too old for it, but I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, a little bit of Instagram. But that's where the market is, and that's the challenge with LinkedIn and Facebook is making sure your people are in the country. We're still limited to North America, for at least at this time. We also have a very structured system. We have a proven online system. This is what made Chris Delfino did well with his buy term and invest in the rest company. He developed a system. With the system he developed there, he was doing more business with 30 reps than people that had 150 reps. And he traveled all over the country at their expense so he could show them his system. And we do a very structured system. We bring people in. We call it tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, tier 6. And we structure people through this, and we don't let them really sell anything until they really know what they're doing. That's why someone starts out. Last thing we think it's dangerous for a newly licensed person to go out and try to help people with their finances. They don't know what they don't know, and that can be very dangerous. And we've covered that. It's also by having people do what they can do and what they know how to do, and by training them and mentoring them, we reduce the turnover. Turnover is a big problem in the insurance industry. We have it set up so people can make some money very quickly. And in fact, a person can make some good money with Virtual Financial and never actually sell a life insurance policy or an annuity or anything. And I can show you that if you'd like to see that. Well, our objective is we want to move people on the cash flow quadrant from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. This is from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. When you're employed, you're making somebody else rich. If you're self-employed, you're your own boss. You have no leverage. What you want to do is you want to become a business owner. You want to stop trading hours for dollars. You want to have other people working for you and using their time. You want to expand the time. For the employee, the self-employed, there's 24 hours in a day. For a business owner, it's 24 hours times the number of employees. And ideally, you get to become an investor. And our system will help people become business owners and even up to the point of being investors. So what are the options? We have three options with Virtual Financial. You can get started. Option number one is you can be a client. You can grow your financial knowledge. You can use our strategies to plan for your future. Or you can start out part-time. You can become a licensed financial professional. And the only thing you need to do is a life insurance license. Securities license are not needed. You can choose your own hours and build your business on your terms. Or you can say, I'm going to do this full time, and you can build your business as big as you want. We also have a fourth option that we started about a year ago. It's called referral agent. You have to be licensed, but if you're very busy, say you're a CPA or you're a real estate broker, a mortgage broker, and you have clients, or even if you sell property and casualty insurance and you're not selling life insurance, you introduce your clients to Virtual Financial. We do the contact with them. We do a needs analysis with them. We do the needs analysis. If they need the help and they buy a policy, referral agent gets a good chunk of the business. And so your next steps are this. If you want a copy of the How Money Works book, I need a mailing address and a phone number, and I'll send it to you. No cost, no obligation. We do not try to force anyone. We're a very low pressure organization. We're not used car salesmen where you put someone in the chute and close them. I worked for a while. I've done a lot of different things in my life. For a while, I worked with a guy that was came up through the used car system and through the new car system where they would line somebody, and then they take them back once they have them lined, they turn them over to the closer. And we don't do that. We're very low key. If you'd like to talk, there's going to be a survey at the end of this time. I think I'm going to put the survey there. If you'd like to talk, just send me a text. You have my phone number. It's 510-909-5899, or call me or email me. Happy to chat with you and answer any questions you have and see if this is something for you or not. And that's all I have. Anyone has any questions? We're past our 12 o'clock. I went 7 minutes over. I apologize for that. But the best thing to do if you'd like to chat, send me a text. You have my email address. You can email me back. Happy to talk to you. If there's something you just have a question about what we're doing, is great. Happy to talk. Like I say, we're very low key. If you fit in, I'd love to have people as a team member. I spend a lot of time with new team members. I train them, I mentor them, and I'm not successful until they're successful. Some people say you're multi-level marketing. No, we're not multi-level marketing. It's pretty hard to take insurance policies and put them in a garage where we do have levels, and there's been levels in the insurance industry since the beginning of the time. But we want to make you successful if you want to work in our system. So anyway, that's all I have. Have a great day. See, I was going to unmute people if I see you here and happy to chat with you. All I have to do is, if you have one question, I've got nothing going on. My dog just laying there sleeping all day, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yes, I had a few questions, Lou. Wondered if you could talk about commissions.
Yeah, our commission plan is probably one of the best in the industry. I can actually show you that. It's hard to go through it on a basis here. People get confused by commissions. They say, well, I can get 100% commission. No one in Virtual Financial, no one in World Financial Group gets 100% commission. We create World Financial Group creates a 6-figure earner about every 2 weeks. So
you talked about leads.
Commissions really isn't the issue. Commissions was a comp plan.
Right. So you talked about leads, but you didn't go into exactly how they're created. How are the leads actually created?
You work your warm market, and your warm market is much bigger than you think it is. Your warm market is LinkedIn and Facebook, and we have ways that you address your warm market. And again, that's part of our training system, is how to address your warm market. Mm-hmm. And again, your warm market's all over the country. It's not just where you're, not just where you can somebody drive to for dinner on Sundays. And again, we don't reach out. We reach out on an education approach. not on do you need insurance approach.
So is someone able to move up a level if they stay part-time?
Yeah, you can, and it's, we have a very, our system structured, and it's designed for a part-time person can do very well with us. Any other questions, Dottie? Happy to answer them.
Yeah, am I the only one on here?
No, there's still a couple other people on, but
Uh-huh.
that's, they're listening to you.
Right, well,
So
you know,
how
like,
are things in New Orleans today?
right, say again?
How are things in New Orleans today?
Today, they're actually good. We're having a heat wave, but tonight we're supposed to have thunderstorms.
Okay, are you a Saints fan?
Yes, of course I am.
You
Big
know,
Saints.
I've got some of the names. There's a guy who's a Saints fan that has a statue outside of the, his name's, he went to Washington State, where I went to school at Washington State, and he's kind of a, he's had the Lou Gehrig's disease, and he's still going, and he's fathered children, and anyway, he also blocked a punt in the first game back in the Superdome.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I guess you had talked about everybody starts out as, well, I forgot what they called the role. but,
Inviter.
Yeah,
Now, again, I'll tell you this, Dottie. You can be an inviter, and you can write your own. You can write policies for people you bring in immediately. We don't. That's up to you. If you have someone that you don't know that well, or you think they may have some capabilities beyond what some needs beyond what your capability is, or your knowledge is.
well,
That's when you
I've been
somebody-
doing this since 1982. Like you, I'm 2 years older than Dirk.
Okay.
But
You're not as old as I am, Dottie.
so anyway, I am interested. However, I am only interested in working part-time.
That's
and I
fine. Not a
don't care to
problem.
work more than that.
Not a problem.
All right. So as a manager, and then to turn the policies over, is that a way to create a successful income?
Yeah, you
or-
can, Chris Stofino, who founded Virtual Financial, when he was in Primerica, he was writing policies every week. I mean, he wrote, 4 or 5 policies a week on a
Uh-huh.
regular basis. He has no desire to write policies now at Virtual Financial.
That's
will
kind
make-
of how I am.
He will make a 7-figure income without writing a policy.
So as a manager, and then you said what you do, of course,
You
Is-
get overrides as managers.
yes,
Once
I
you
understand
get it-
that.
once
Of
you
course
get it-
I do. I've been a manager. I don't care to
Yeah.
do that anymore.
Yeah,
But what I'm talking about is I did the old manager skill where you had meetings every week and had 75 agents and so forth.
yeah.
I'm just beyond that at this point,
Well,
but-
but you're a youngster.
but the training and such, of course, I have, I probably have a lot of skill because I've sold everything that's out there. However, I just, I'm trying to figure out a way to make some decent income on a part-time basis.
Yeah, well,
And what-
you could use our book, and if you want to, you just could refer people to us.
Uh-huh.
And that's all you would have to do is find people that are interested in being educated, and we'll take it from there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But you still have to go through all the, you are licensed, right?
Oh, like I said, since 1982.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I actually, I checked you out, Dottie. Were you in a movie?
Yes.
It's amazing what you find on the internet, isn't it?
Do what?
It's amazing what you find in the internet.
Oh, yes. So yes, it is. I've wondered how you found that one, but yes, I have done several movies.
If you if you ever done a Google search on your own name,
No, I haven't.
you should do that. You might be surprised what you find out.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
look, I'll let you go. Happy to chat with you. If you'd like a copy of the book, you give me a mailing address. I'll send the books is our main lead generator.
Okay. So I'm gonna, yeah, I'll send you the address. I would like the book. Thank you.
Just send it by email, and I'll get it out to you today.
Great.
If you'd like to
Sounds
join
good.
the team, I'd be happy to have you on there. I have no problem with old ladies, believe me. I've been married to one for 58 years. So
Okay. I thank you. And yes, I'll send that over to you soon.
very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Are you in the meeting?
Standing. I can figure out how to end it.
Mind if I go camping on the 27th?
I don't care if you look at it.